I never really thought I'd say this, but I'm actually really excited about the 2022 Silverado, and more specifically, the ZR2. The Silverado to me has always been the least attractive among these trucks, but for the 2022 upgrade here, specifically on the interior design, that's actually what I'm going to focus on here and compare the Ford, the Ram, and the Chevy interior and show you exactly what was lacking in the 2021 interior. Compare it also to the new one and all the upgrades that you get here. So this is really interesting, and I'm going to talk about the exterior design and also some of the spec and tech here. So the brand new 2022 Silverado ZR2 comes with a 420 horsepower, 460 pound-feet of torque, 6.2 liter V8, and it has 33-inch Goodyear Wrangler Territory off-road tires and upgraded dampers as well. It also now has a front electronic locking differential in addition to the rear one. The Silverado ZR2's design is not really, and overall styling isn't really as aggressive as the Raptor or the TRX, but at the same time it's not really in the same league as those either. But the blacked out front end with the refreshed LEDs here looks a whole lot better than the outgoing version, and more on this when we jump into Photoshop and compare the old Trail Boss to the new ZR2 and the front end, what really happened there. I like that the tow hooks are now red. They were red on the Trail Boss as well, and it gives the face a splash of color, a contrast color in all of that blackness in the front end. Above those in the skid plate you have a high mounted steel front bumper, which adds to the off-road look of the truck but also helps to achieve the 31.8 degree approach angle of the front end. That's more than you get in any other Silverado, including those fitted with the Z71 or Trail Boss off-road packages with their standard 2-inch suspension lift. In fact, the ZR2 is half an inch taller than the Trail Boss and is only available as a crew cab with either a short or standard length beds. The new ZR2 features a new black hood inserts and graphics, a new grille design with integrated daytime running lights, a bunch of ZR2 badges of course, and 18-inch wheels wrapped in those Goodyear 33-inch tires. The big changes, however, happens on the inside, and this is one of the points we're going to dive a lot deeper in just a minute here, jumping into Photoshop. You now have a 12.3-inch fully digital gauge cluster alongside a beautiful horizontal 13.4-inch touchscreen infotainment system. We don't really know the pricing yet for the 2022 Silverado ZR2, but you can expect it to land somewhere where the high country is priced right now, and that is about $55,000, which is a lot more affordable than the Raptor or TRX, for example. The ZR2 is expected to go on sale this spring in 2022. Now let's talk about the design here. So at the bottom we have the Trail Boss, the 2021 Trail Boss right there. Up here we have the brand new 2022 ZR2 going on sale this spring in 2022. What I really love about this front end, the new one, is something that I thought of the old one when I saw it for the first time and throughout, especially at night, is you see these tiny little daytime running lights right here. I didn't think they were impactful enough or big enough for this massive face that we have. Such, for example, they're not really designed enough. They're just a little light strip with the same sort of thickness going around these inserts of the body that you have right here, and that's it. They don't really give the Chevy Silverado a proper identity in the front end like you have with the Ford F-150, which has of course the lights going something like this and even into the bumper down here, or the Ram where you have the horizontal lines going like this, which creates a very cool identity for the two brands. And that's something I thought was really lacking here in the old Silverado. I'm really happy that's one of the details that you can see that they really designed more here. It's not a big change, but to me, looking at from the front view and comparing these two LEDs right here, it is a big difference, because now if you look at this one right here, we have different thickness here than we have here, for example. It feels more dynamic and more designed and generally just a more beautiful daytime running LED right there, and it creates a stronger identity for the brand as well. It just looks better. It suits this big face better as well. These look way too tiny, and I think you can see it right now when you compare it to the new one and how much better the new one looks. The headlights themselves are also redesigned. So here we have sort of three separate pieces right here. As you can see, the new ZR2 up here has one, I think this is the main one, and then you have some high beams right here, and they sit a little lower than they did on the Trail Boss or the old 2021 Silverado as well. Some other changes we have in the front end is, of course, the ZR2 package. So comparing this, it looks similar to the Colorado ZR2, specifically the lower part right here where they have cut the bumpers here, expose more of the tire right here, which of course creates a lot better approach angle for the ZR2 package, even compared to the Trail Boss right here, which still has the bumper covering a lot of the front wheel right here. It isn't going to be as off-road worthy, of course, as the ZR2. You can tell just by looking at the two here, but we still have the red tow hooks here, which we have on the new ZR2 as well, which I said looks good because it gives a little bit of a contrast color. If you look at this massive front just from a straight front view, it's a lot of black going on. I think this silver skid plate right here and these red tow hooks, it just adds to some interesting features in the front end. And this bow tie right here on the ZR2, it's actually hollow to give, I think they said 2% more cooling to the engine. Also, you have these lights up here, this kind of position lights or whatever. I think they look cool. You don't have that on the old Trail Boss here down here, and that's also something that's new for 2022, specifically the ZR2 package. Looking at the grille itself, let's just clean this up a little bit. If we have a look at this part right here and comparing it to the Trail Boss, we have more of a textured feeling inside of this pattern here compared to the more horizontal and boring looking Trail Boss. It's too many horizontal lines and nothing that really breaks up all the horizontal lines that we have in the front of the Trail Boss. Another thing that I like about the new ZR2 as well, and the positioning of the bow tie, it sits a little higher right now. I think it looks better because now it sits right in between the headlights, in line with the headlights, which it didn't really do here. As you can see, it doesn't really sit in line with the headlights. It sits right smack in the middle of the grille, and it looks a lot better here. The side mirrors are carryover, so you have the same kind of side mirrors right here, but you do have a new hood for the ZR2, which I think looks really good. I don't know how much of that is actually functional of the graphics and styling of the hood, but who cares? It looks cool, and that's all that matters right now. And that's this black insert right there. You can just tell that this is a more off-road focused package, the ZR2, than the Trail Boss, obviously, specifically looking at the tires as well. These are a lot more off-road and aggressive tires than you have on the Trail Boss, and it just looks like a completely new truck to me. You know, if I were considering a truck, I would consider the ZR2 now. I would actually consider a Silverado after they released the ZR2. So let's have a look at the cool stuff here. The interior, which is what really was lacking on the 2021 Silverado. At the bottom here we have the 2021 Silverado down here. In the middle we have the Ford Raptor. Up here we have the Ram Rebel interior. So just have a look at the materials here. I think that's where you want to focus on, the materials and the overall feel of the interior. This Silverado from 2021 down here, it feels like this is something taken straight out of 1995. Just discounted the screens here and there. The rest of this, all this plastic and all this stuff right here, the stitching and everything, the design and feel of this, it feels like it's very, very old school and not at all in the same category or standard as the Ford or the Ram, which we have right here. You can see that we have different type of materials here. We have more modern type of styling with the chamfers, and also a lot bigger screen in the middle and fully digital gauge cluster right there. And it just feels more premium. And same with the beautiful Ram interior right here, which looks like a luxury car with this big 12-point-something inch infotainment screen in the middle. You have all these buttons up here, and just look at this type of different materials going on here. You have this beautiful stitching in the armrest in the center right there, and the details such as the speakers, and of course the beautiful details that you have in the gauge cluster of these Rams trucks. It's just a beautiful interior. Comparing these two to the Chevy, you can definitely tell that there's something lacking with the Chevy interior, and that's why I'm so glad to see that they upgraded the interior to the brand new one, the 2022, which is right here. And you can see we have the 13.4-inch horizontal infotainment screen, which is not something that you see in either Ford or Ram. They both have either a very squarish one, or the Ram has one 12-inch that sticks down like this in a vertical manner. And then you have the this was a 13.4 and this is a 12.3-inch fully digital instrument cluster right there. And comparing this design to the old one, it's like Chevy stepped forward 20 years with this new design. And not just that, but just look at the different coloring here and the different materials. It just feels like a brand new truck and not mid-cycle refresh here. This feels like it's a brand new truck for Chevy and not just a facelift that we have on the outside. So I'm glad that they focused a lot on the inside here, because that's really what needed to be upgraded in the Chevy Silverado. Now that I look at it, it actually reminds me a lot of the Hummer EV interior, specifically when you have this little shift control down here. It looks like a throttle control for an airline or something like that. It's very cool. But what I really like about this interior specifically is the horizontal placed 13.4-inch infotainment screen right there. I think it looks beautiful, and this is now a interior that I think actually is on the same level as what I consider to be the best interior of all these trucks, and that is the Ram right here. So now that Chevy has the interior that it's supposed to have, that it's worthy of having, let's have a look at the overall design here of the trucks that I would consider getting if I was getting a truck here. First up here we have my favorite, the Ram Rebel up here, and then we have the Silverado down in the middle, and then we have the F-150 right here. So what I like about the Chevy Silverado is that it's the most stylized one. At the same time, it keeps very truck-like proportions. But what I've always loved with the Chevy Silverado is this beautiful line right here. Just look at how beautifully this integrates in the body, and then you have this line connecting the bed with the cab right here. And the cab here carries over from the 2021 model, and I'm glad it does, because as I said, I really like the styling of this design right here, whereas the Ram is very straightforward, and so is the Ford. I think the Ford looks the least fun in design, and the Ram looks second place. But first place when it comes to side view styling, it's definitely the Silverado right here. I think it looks beautiful, specifically, as I said, with these styling features and lines that goes in the body right here. Overall, I'm really excited about this refresh from Chevy and the Silverado, and specifically, of course, the ZR2 here with this brand new front end and more off-road looking design. Too bad you have to wait until spring of next year to order one, because otherwise I might just order one right now.